I'm home. You see the background. You know, this guy's on my lap. Right. That's my guy, Jake. That's my girl, Raina. She got an itch. Home in Brooklyn, New York. After being in the Bay Area, Northern Cal, Recovery Church San Jose, Higher Power Celebration Ministry, um, Victor Outreach Antioch, and other stuff, other things. Got to meet some great people. Then I flew red eye into Albany for Missions Door Eastern Region Conference thing with a bunch of incredible missionaries and leadership team from Missions Door. And then I drove home with Edwin and Chris. And then I had a medical procedure this morning. Nothing big. A colonoscopy, you know, big boy stuff. You know, gotta take care of my body, make sure things. And so, but funny because I don't even know if I should be making this video because of the anesthesia. They said don't drive, so I'm not driving. Maybe I shouldn't be live neither. But anyway, I'm home and I'm listening to worship music. I'm talking to people. I'm processing. I'm looking at my notes from California to Albany to the ride home, and a lot goes on, right? So I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people. You know, I was in California talking to people in California, talking to people in England, talking to people in Sweden, in Norway, South Africa, New York, Florida. I'm in Albany talking to people in New York and California, and you know, I get to have these conversations with people, and I had a great conversation with the president of Missions Door, so with the SALT team, with high-level functioning leaders that are, you know, involved in influencing many lives in one way or another. And I'm dealing with people who are mentally struggling, unwell, on drugs, on the streets, selling drugs. So I deal with a lot of people, pastors and leaders and people in recovery and sponsees and coaches and professionals and entrepreneurs. I famous people, athletes, actors, blah, blah, blah. I don't ever drop names. So I get to deal with an incredible range of different types of people. And it's all about conversations, right? It's all about listening. Listening is an incredible gift. Just listening. Sometimes it's just listening. Don't say nothing. Just be shut up. And so, and it's knowing what to say. You know, there's this is incredibly a good thing that I share with other people, that I practice in my own life. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said right now? Does this need to be said right now by me? So these are incredibly helpful questions in a moment to help me navigate. Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? Does it need to be said right now by me? You know, and so tonality, learning how to speak to people, different tones, body language. You know, I've been blessed to learn how to communicate and learning how to communicate. And when just to be shut up. That's also a lot of wisdom, just to be quiet. And so California was incredible, right? I was talking to a gentleman. I was like, you know, I preached at this place. A lot of people responded, and what's real, what's not real, what's authentic, what's not authentic, what's God, what's not God. I don't know what God is doing or what. I just know a lot of people responded. I gotta imagine some of those people are having an authentic surrender and yielding to Christ, and that's powerful. And it happens all the time. You know, I go here, I go there, I go here, I go there. It happens all the time. And I get to experience miracles. I get to see people, the light goes on. I get to see the light go on in their eyes. I get to see, boom, that moment of, you know, salvation, regentification, justification. I get to see, boom, the light goes on. And I get to see emotional responses, intellectual responses. I get to see overwhelming responses. I get to see almost no response, like no visible signs of but people responding to God. And so that's beautiful. I got to preach in Antioch, I was watching Pastor Adam preach or just do whatever he was doing, preaching announcements. His wife was praying. And I saw, with as humble, I saw myself and my wife. My wife prays like that woman, Sister Gina, like his wife. And I preached kind of like him, right? We still got a long way to go, but you understand. And that didn't happen by accident. Those are my spiritual parents. So of course, I preach like him, and my wife prays like her, right? So that's what we witnessed coming up, and that was very moving to me. To see people who invested in me, took time to spend time talking to me, answering questions. I was struggling. My flesh was struggling with the truth of God's word. I didn't like the idea that there was only one way to heaven. I was wrestling with that. There's many roads to lead to St. Louis. I was like, I had a lot of different beliefs that I had to unlearn so I could, and process. And I didn't want to commit intellectual suicide. I needed answers to my questions. And he took time, and Pastor Ed took time, and PD took time to help me and the questions that I had, and I wrestled with the answers. I didn't like the answers, but they prayed for me. They answered my questions. They loved me. Most importantly, Pastor Ed, PD, Pastor Adam Valenzuela, his wife Gina, they modeled Christianity for me. I saw it. You might not believe what you hear, but you cannot deny what you see. And so that was beautiful. And I'm out with my man Kurt. What a loving, incredible, compassionate heart that man has. I get to hang out with people that love the Lord. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. I got issues. I got incredible issues. Somebody said, man, how do you stop sinning? I don't know how to stop sinning. I have not stopped sinning. I've sinned differently. I've repented of some things. There's been a lot of change in my life, but I fall short. I wish I could tell you I'm perfect and that I don't sin no more and I don't get tempted and I don't want to sin. And yeah, I actually don't have thoughts of sinning. I want to sin. I get thoughts of, I want to put hands on that person. I want to do this. I want to act out over here in a dirty, disgusting way. I want to, I have a flesh that doesn't go nowhere. I got a sinful, disgusting nature that's the Spirit of God is able to overcome because I'm pressing in, and it's all the grace of God. But I still think about doing dirty, bad things and putting hands on people and blowing the spot. I'll burn this house down. I will burn this house down if not for the grace of God. So it's all about the grace of God. It's all about being able to remember, I didn't choose God. I didn't choose God. I didn't want to be a Christian. I took, I got all these Bibles now, but I used to rip them up, tear them up, desecrate them in different ways that I don't want to. But I used to, I used the Bible to smoke drugs, to use drugs. I wasn't a Bible believer. I wasn't a Bible reader. I wasn't a Christian church-going person. I didn't have a father. I didn't have a brother. No men in my life to protect me. So I didn't care. I was a do it alone, die hard. Isolating, no co-defendants, do it yourself type of. So having a pastor or a priest or anybody all that was foreign to me. But I'm looking at Pastor Adam and him being a Mexican man, I'm being a Puerto Rican man, and how that was the issue when I first met him, and how my flesh said he's Mexican, and and I had issues and I had to address those issues. It doesn't, when you're drowning in the ocean, I don't know if you've ever been drowning. When you're drowning in the ocean, you don't care if the lifeguard is Mexican, black, white, Presbyterian, Reformed, Baptist, Catholic. When you're dying in the ocean, you don't care what color life, you don't care his theological stance when he's saving you from drowning. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So I'm just, this guy was Mexican, I'm Puerto Rican. I had to overcome that cultural machismo, bravado, pride, differentiating, racism. I had to address those things. He was my spiritual father. He's guiding me. He's teaching me how to read the Bible, teaching me how to pray. I had to wrestle through different ideas. I wasn't no man told me what to do. And then I got daddy issues. So that's another thing that unconsciously is playing. And then you got the demons, spiritual, the enemy, trauma, dysfunction, spiritual warfare, mental illness, the disease of addiction, racism, prejudice, fear, self-centeredness, pride, arrogance, the list goes. The battle was serious, man. And I know that's why most men don't ever get to that place where God wants. There's a saying that most Christian men, they never grow beyond spiritual adolescence. And I was like, man, why is that? And it's because of pride. It's because they can't listen to nobody. It's because can't nobody tell them nothing. And I get it, because this guy's Mexican. He's from the West Coast. I'm from the East Coast. Tupac, Biggie, whatever. Just the devil used everything and anything to try to block us. And that was my teacher. When the student is ready, the teacher, that was the man that God said to me. Just like John C., my first sponsor, John Conroy, right? Irish, old man, teenage Puerto Rican, Greenpoint, Brooklyn, West Side Story, right? If you guys know, old Brooklyn, not the new Brooklyn. And so God sent me incredible men, John C., right? Then he sent me Adam Valenzuela, Ed Castro, Petey Panilla. Those are the people that impacted my life. Before them, it was James Sweeney, and it was, Cosmo. Those are the two Christians that impacted me the most. The people who provoked me when it comes to God and theology and surrendering to God was the Muslims. Usman D, Thomas P, Ron H, Jamil the General, Khalis, Mustafa. Like, and I can go on. Abdur, but the Muslims in recovery were the ones who were talking about God and God and God. I didn't have a God. I was angry and jealous that you can be so convicted spiritually and I don't have a clue. How do you know God? Why does he text me? And I had to work through things. So I'm on this trip, and I'm thinking about my spiritual parents who found me, and they went. That's a whole story. I gotta do a video on that. And then they discipled me, and Ed and Petey helped me when they left, and that was a big deal. Pastor Ed Castro, Sister Anna, his mother Cookie, Natalie's mother helped me, my wife. And I had many people helping me grow. So my whole point is, I'm looking at Missions Door, I'm looking at my time in Northern Cal, and I'm like, Mark Marshak, right? If I want to be a Missions Door, it wasn't for Mark Marshak. And I like to be authentic. Maybe that can be an issue. Maybe there got to be a line as far as how much you disclose and who you disclose to. Maybe I need to ask God for new levels of discernment in that area. But this is what you get. I don't want to, when you deal with me, you don't have to walk away wondering what I really think. Because I'm going to tell you what I really think. Good, bad, ugly, and I'm going to just tell you, I've told many of my friends, I'm not saying that you're high or you're using. I'm saying you look like you're high. You don't look like you're clean to me. So I had to tell some of my friends that. I'm not saying that you're not working a program. I'm saying your actions and your words, there's no evidence of somebody where I've had to have those conversations with some of my friends. So I don't like to, so if it wasn't for Mark Marshak, I wouldn't be a Missions Door, right? That's how it was. Mark Marshak. Now, man, I have a great family at Missions Door. I was just plugged into one person. I didn't know that there was all these other, maybe I knew, maybe I wasn't interested. Maybe, so maybe I didn't care. I was busy. But now, wow. All these wonderful missionaries traveling the world, doing great things, impacting lives, specializing in different areas of ministry. I got a lot of Jewish friends. I got access to an incredible Jewish man who's messianic, who knows the Torah, knows the Jewish tradition, who looks like a rabbi physically, who dresses like, I have his phone number. I have so many Jewish friends that might be able to be blessed from his ministry. I got a lot of Muslim friends. I just told you the Muslims were the ones who provoked me. I got a lot of Muslim, I love that they're near and dear to my heart. That if I was getting married, they'd be invited to the wedding, right? My daughter's getting married and nobody's invited to the wedding. It's not my wedding, all my friends, I'm sorry, right? I'm doing a Fathers of the Bride event at some point. And it's going to be a fundraiser for my daughter's ministry and her husband's ministry / celebration for my friends to come to. I can't make her wedding list, and I'm not going to try to manipulate, control, dictate, emotional black. That's her wedding, like I did with her college, like I did through her life. She got a voice, she can use it. So You probably won't be invited to my daughter's wedding. I'm sorry. I love you. Okay. But as I was saying, check it out. Very, very important. Right? I'm going to shift gears here. I've been blessed, man, to have some Mark. John C. changed my life. You got Ron H. changed my life. Usman D. Mustafa. Jamil the General. Khalis. Abdur. Right? Now, Mustafa went home to be with the Lord as Modesto. Khalis went to be with the Lord as Spiritual Ernie. Abdur is now Sean G. I can go on. Thomas P. is now serving the Lord. And a lot of these guys who, their own process, but they were Muslim and they were and they were speaking from a Muslim perspective, and they provoked me spiritually and they impacted my life. And so I'm grateful for them. I'm in church worshiping Jesus Christ because Muslims told me you need to get with God and not an etch-a-sketch God, and not a Mickey Mouse Donald Duck God, and not the God of your convenience, and not the God of your imagination, and not the God of your choosing. You can't choose God. You got to serve the God who chose you. Those are the messages these guys. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, yo, whoa, hey, easy. Guys came at me hard. And so I heard them. So now I'm serving the Lord. And so anyway, Mark Marshak, I got to think about him at Missions Law Conference and how he impacted my life. And he was, we disagreed a lot. Me and Edwin I can't believe we didn't give that man no strokes. You know what I mean? Me and Edwin behind closed doors, just taking off our jackets, taking off our gloves, going through processes, differences of opinion. He's passionate, I'm passionate. I can't believe Mark Marshak survived me and Edwin. Right? And he did. He was a great leader. In some areas, so he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm indebted to Mark Marshak like I'm indebted to John C. Like I'm indebted to my sponsor, Richie C. right now. All right? So I've been blessed. Kurt in California. Rick blessed me. His wife, Robin, blessed me. What a beautiful blessing. Just I had a great time. I felt the love. Recovery Church San Jose. I feel like Adam Jr. and his wife and and his sister and her husband, and they're my family. I need to go spend more time with them. That's like my nephew. With all due respect, that's my. Those are like my family. I gotta invest more time. And so, just thinking about relationships and conversations and impact and. Obviously I get to speak all over the world. I get to talk all over the world. I get to speak in front of 10,000, 5,000, 3,000, 20 people, 9 people, 50 people, 500 people. I get to speak in front of a lot of people every year. And I get to tell my story about, I was on drugs. I was messed up, drug addict from the streets of Brooklyn, devastated, savage, slave. Detox, rehab, 12-step meetings. Clean, free, grateful I'm clean, no more crack, no more drunk, no more. But now I'm a slave to defects. And now I'm bugging with the defects. And my mental health got bad, became suicidal. And then I finally, listening to Ron H., Usman D., Richie C., Ray V., they're speakers, these guys, Mustafa, Modesto, these guys, you got to get with God. You got to get Cosmo. Cosmo was relentless and unapologetic. He didn't give no about traditions and nothing. You need Jesus Christ. You're going to blow your brains out without you. I was like, relax. I get to choose. No, my man, people like you don't get to choose. You need to understand. And Cosmo was a gangster about it, was a barbarian. If you know Cosmo, you know what I'm talking about. James Sweetie was on the total opposite spectrum. Soft-spoken, loving, just, caring and sharing. And so, I've been blessed, man. This last trip, I'm thinking about California, Jimmy Jam, my brother Jimmy Jam. I've been just really blessed. Wallace came to spend the time with me, drive all the way from Reno, Nevada, always comes to support me. Because of my strokes, I'm not 100% no more. Blah blah blah. He's by, my right hand man was traveling with me, being there for me, helping me. Oh, somebody's coming home. Who's that? Oh, yes. All right. gotta go now. I love you guys. My wife just walked in. We'll do part 2. Shout out to Missions Door. Shout out to Recovery Church Movement. I love you guys. San Jose, thank you. Higher Power, Eddie G. Sharon. I love you guys. Victory Outreach Antioch, Pastor Adams, Sister Gina, Adam Jr. I love you guys. Worship team. Grateful. All right. I love you. Part 2. We gotta go.